In this video, we're going to talk about how to build and maintain asset CI forms to support the different types of assets and CIs that need to be managed within your organization. So again, what we're going to cover, how to build, how to manage all these asset CI form options to better support all the different areas that need to manage assets and CIs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tool. So I want to share an example of what these forms do, and let me first share an example of asset forms and CI forms. So you can see I have gone to an IT Assets asset application, and you see I have a new button for assets and a new button for configuration items. Now, different types of assets and different types of configuration items require that different pieces of information be tracked. As an example, you can see that when I go to a new asset, I have a generic asset form, which we can configure to determine what's the baseline asset form for our organization. And I can now create specialized asset forms, in this case that have information that are specific to a laptop that I wouldn't otherwise track on other types of assets. So for example, what type of software is loaded? Does it have an integrated webcam? Similarly, with configuration items, I may have a generic configuration item form for tracking configuration items, but I may also have specific forms. So in this case, I have a server form where I'm specifying the operating system. Or to give an example, here I have this generic form that I built, and you can see that I can have completely unique fields for every different type of asset or CI. Now, in addition to this, we can also support different types of assets for any department who needs to track assets. As an example, I have this HVAC unit. So when I click on the form, you can see that I have, for example, the product model supplier, which would be typically standard across assets, but then I have information that is unique to HVAC units, dates of installation, information about voltage, wattage, cooling capacity. So you can see that this provides a tremendous amount of flexibility. In addition to that, all of this information is available via reporting. So as I go to build my reports, I can now use all of these custom attributes. So it's a very, very powerful capability. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we build these. So what I'm going to first do in the admin application is I'm going to go to my assets application here. I am going to see that I have the ability to create asset attributes. Then I can go ahead and create forms. So you can see that I have my generic asset form, but I also have my laptop form. And this is where I can specify for each different type of asset exactly the information I need to track. In addition to that, you can see that we have configuration item attributes. So here are some of the examples you saw from my on-screen demonstration just a few moments ago. So then I can actually go and create a form for each type of configuration item that I need to track. Similarly, let me go back to applications. I did the same thing in my facilities asset application. I created asset attributes specific to HVAC units that I created a form for an HVAC unit. I added just the fields that I wanted to have available to me when I'm managing HVAC units. And for any of these forms, we can specify that they're pinned. That means that there's a shortcut to them when I go to that Create menu. So I will share that with you again just in a moment, and I have the ability to determine whether it's active or not. So let me go back to a moment to my application. When I click on the Asset or Configuration Item menu, you can see that I have these two forms. These were pinned. So if I go to just a general configuration item, you can see that I also can use a type ahead and say, okay, I actually need my server form, and it will filter and switch to that specific form. But if it's something that our teams use very, very often, I may pin them to this menu. So I hope this has been a good overview of how flexible CI and asset forms make the asset applications and gave you great insights into how to configure these capabilities.